Planetary Gemstones and Metals in Vedic Astrology Part 1, the Sun. Let's start with the Sun, Surya, the soul of the solar system and the central graha in Jyotish. When we talk about gemstones associated with the Sun, the one that stands out most consistently across texts and traditions is the ruby, Manikya. Classical sources like Phaladipika explicitly mention ruby as the gemstone that resonates with the Sun's brilliant and fiery essence. Some older texts also note the diamond as historically linked to the Sun, but in modern usage, ruby remains the most prescribed. Its deep red hue symbolizes vitality, strength, and the power to lead. Metals play an equally important role. While in daily astrological practice, we often recommend ruby to be set in gold. The classical allocation for the Sun's metal is copper, as mentioned in traditional works. Gold, of course, carries the brilliance and majesty of Surya and is preferred due to its resonance with royalty, warmth, and prosperity. Ruby in a gold ring worn on the ring finger of the right hand is the most common remedial suggestion, especially for natives who need to strengthen their solar energy. Now, when is ruby actually advised? It's most beneficial when the Sun is the Lagna Lord. For example, Leo ascendants, with the Sun ruling their first house, are ideal candidates. But it's also recommended if the Sun rules the fifth house, boosting creativity and brilliance in children and love matters, or the seventh house, where it could enhance dignity in marriage. For career, if Sun is the 10th lord, ruby can strengthen leadership and authoritative expression. And if it rules the 11th house, it may open doors for gains, recognition, and elevated social standing. This is why many modern astrologers call ruby a classic, planetary gemstone for career growth when placed appropriately. The actual placement of the Sun in your chart makes a huge difference. In Aries, its sign of exaltation, or in Leo, its own sign, ruby enhances what's already working well. It fuels ambition, radiance, and willpower. But if Surya is debilitated in Libra or afflicted by malefics like Saturn or Rahu, you need to tread cautiously. In such cases, ruby could backfire, leading to ego clashes, health issues, or reputational damage. If Sun is combust or retrograde, depending on certain transit conditions, it's better to go for mantra remedies or fasting on Sundays instead of wearing a gem. Conjunctions also tell us a lot. A Sun-Jupiter conjunction in a good house is a powerful Raja Yoga combination. Ruby strengthens this and helps manifest the promise. But a Sun-Saturn conjunction can create immense internal friction, leading to delays and frustration. Wearing ruby in such combinations might aggravate the stress unless counteracted by other planetary supports. Always evaluate the dignity and aspect strength of Sun in such cases. Divisional charts give deeper insight into when a gemstone will yield material results. In the D10 chart, Dasamsa, which governs profession, if Sun is well placed or forms Raj Yoga, ruby can uplift career growth dramatically. In the D2 chart, Hora, which is used to assess wealth and resource management, a strong Sun favors accumulation of wealth through leadership or public roles. If both D1 and D10 D2 show strength, ruby becomes a highly effective remedial measure. That said, ruby is not for everyone. If the Sun is a functional malefic, say it rules the 6th, 8th, or 12th house from the ascendant, using ruby can intensify struggles instead of solving them. This is especially risky if the Sun is sitting in the Maraka houses, 2nd or 7th, or is severely afflicted by Ketu. Surya Ketu dosha, for example, creates ego distortions and spiritual confusion. Ruby in such cases may aggravate identity crises or alienation unless the dosha is addressed first. So, ruby is a gemstone of immense power, but only when used correctly. It shines best when Surya is already in a relatively dignified or promising position, or when it simply needs a little energetic push to start delivering better results. Always look at the overall planetary picture, including dignity, house rulership, aspects, and conjunctions before recommending or wearing the Sun's gemstone. Planetary Gemstones and Metals in Vedic Astrology Part 2, the Moon. When we turn our gaze to the Moon, Chandra, we step into the realm of emotions, mind, mother, and the nourishing essence of life. The gemstone that resonates most deeply with the Moon is the natural pearl, Modi. This connection is explicitly stated in classical texts like Phaladipika, which mention pearl as the Moon's primary gem. Over time, some modern practitioners have also started using moonstone or even white sapphire in its place. But in traditional Vedic astrology, the calming and cooling effect of a pure natural pearl remains unmatched. The metal associated with the moon is silver. This is not just symbolic. Silver has physical cooling properties and energetically supports the lunar qualities of calmness, receptivity, and emotional equilibrium. Classical texts also refer to bell metal, bronze, but in practical usage, silver remains the preferred metal for moon-related remedies. A natural pearl set in silver and worn on the little finger of the right hand, or sometimes the ring finger of the left, is a widely recommended remedy for moon imbalances or to enhance emotional intelligence and mental clarity. So, when do we actually prescribe a pearl? First and foremost, when the moon is the Lagna lord, such as in Cancer ascendant charts, it becomes a core personality strengthening stone. Pearl is also advised when the moon rules key houses like the 5th, boosting intuition, creativity, emotional bonding with children, the 7th, enhancing tenderness in relationships, the 10th, giving fame through soft skills, public image, and the 11th, helping in gains through nurturing networks or female-dominated spaces. A native with moon ruling the 5th house, for example, might wear a pearl to boost artistic inspiration and emotional connection with children. The moon's phase and placement in your chart matter deeply. A full moon or waxing Shukla Paksha, moon in Taurus, its exaltation, is considered highly auspicious. Pearl enhances such configurations and amplifies calm magnetism. However, a waning moon, Krishna Paksha, especially in Scorpio, its debilitation sign, is considered weak. In such cases, pearl may be used cautiously or in combination with mantras. Also, if moon is afflicted or placed in Dusthana houses 6th, 8th, 12th, wearing a pearl without checking the rest of the chart might intensify emotional turbulence or hypersensitivity. The moon's conjunctions also influence the decision to use its gem. A moon-Jupiter conjunction, Gajakisara Yoga, is considered very auspicious. Pearl enhances the effect, bringing emotional wisdom and popularity. If moon is conjunct Saturn, Mars, or Rahu, however, it can create emotional coldness, stress, or confusion. In such combinations, pearl might intensify anxiety unless protective measures are taken. It's crucial to assess the degree of affliction before deciding on gemstone therapy. Divisional charts like the Navamsa D9 and Dasamsa D10 also give insight into whether pearl will work. A strong moon in the D9 chart confirms inner emotional strength and capacity for long-term relationships. Here, pearl becomes an enhancer. In the D10, if the moon is connected to public image, counseling, or professions involving care, pearl can sharpen your ability to connect with the public, nurture teams, or perform under emotional pressure. However, pearl is not universally advised. If moon is a functional malefic, such as the lord of the 6th, 8th, or 12th house, its gemstone can backfire. For instance, a Sagittarius ascendant with moon ruling the 8th house should avoid pearl unless very specific conditions are met. Also, in charts where the moon is heavily afflicted by Ketu or in Rahu's nakshatra, emotional distortions are possible, and pearl may bring more tears than healing unless remedies for Chandra dosha are first done. Ultimately, pearl is a deeply sensitive stone, just like the moon itself. It doesn't blast its energy like a ruby or a coral. Instead, it gently nurtures and soothes the mind, supports emotional regulation, and enhances creativity when used wisely. As with all planetary gemstones, its success lies not just in quality or carat weight, but in timing, placement, and the chart's overall balance. Planetary gemstones and metals in Vedic Astrology Part 3, Mars. Mars, Mangala, is the planet of energy, action, courage, and physical drive. In classical and modern Vedic astrology, the gemstone most closely associated with Mars is the red coral, Munga. Phaladipika and other authoritative texts like Ratna Shastra mention coral as the prime gem that resonates with Mars' fiery and assertive nature. Unlike most other planetary gemstones, coral is organic, not mineral, formed by marine polyps, and its bold blood red color symbolizes vitality, warriorship, and decisive will. The metal traditionally linked with Mars is copper, though iron is also widely acknowledged, especially in modern use. Copper enhances Mars's qualities of stamina and heat, whereas iron represents structure, force, and durability, traits governed by Mangala. For remedial purposes, red coral is typically set in copper or gold and worn on the ring finger of the right hand, particularly on a Tuesday during the Mars Hora, after proper energizing with mantras. So when should you wear red coral? It is highly recommended when Mars is the Lagna Lord, for instance in Aries or Scorpio ascendants. Here, coral enhances self-assertion, vitality, and ability to act with clarity. It's also beneficial when Mars rules the 5th house, stimulating competitive drive, learning enthusiasm and creativity, 7th house, sexual energy, protection in marriage, 10th house, action in career, authority and leadership roles, or 11th house, ambition for gains, capacity for bold networking. For someone with Aries rising and Mars ruling the 10th house, red coral is a potent planetary gemstone for career action and decisiveness. Mars placement must be carefully studied. In Capricorn, where Mars is exalted, red coral strengthens disciplined action, resilience, and ability to lead through conflict. In Cancer, where Mars is debilitated, coral is often used as a corrective, though only when Mars is not heavily afflicted. When Mars is retrograde or combust, coral may be useful to realign physical vitality and mental focus. But if Mars is in enemy signs like Libra or Taurus and under malefic aspect, coral might provoke impatience, aggression, or accidents. Conjunctions with other planets make a big difference. When Mars is with the Sun or Jupiter, coral strengthens the leadership and dharmic warrior archetype. But if Mars is conjunct Saturn, Rahu, or Ketu, it can create inner frustration, explosive anger, or scattered aggression. In such cases, coral must be used cautiously and only after considering the dignity and strength of Mars in the entire chart. For example, a Mars-Ketu conjunction in Scorpio might respond better to mantra and fasting than to coral. Looking at divisional charts, especially D9, Navamsa, D10, Dasamsa, and D2, Hora, can refine whether coral will actually work. If Mars is well placed in the D9, it supports marital protection and passion. In D10, it shows drive and execution in career. In D2, it supports control over money and quick decision-making. Coral in these cases reinforces inner and outer strength. If Mars is weak in all these, however, it may be wise to avoid gemstone remedies altogether. Contraindications are extremely important for red coral. If Mars is a functional malefic, for example, the 6th, 8th, or 12th Lord, coral can backfire. It might increase hostility, trigger injuries, or create toxic competitiveness. Also, if the native has Mangalic dosha or Mars is involved in severe afflictions, e.g., hemmed between malefics or aspecting Moon Ketu, coral could fuel more chaos than clarity. In such cases, mantra, charity, or ritual pujas for Mars are safer alternatives. Ultimately, red coral is not a subtle stone. It activates, it accelerates, it pushes. That's why it works beautifully for those who need a spark to initiate, defend, or assert themselves when Mars is on their side. But when Mars is hostile in a chart, coral can turn fire into wildfire. Precision in diagnosis is key. Only when Mars supports your chart's purpose and when his aggression is channeled constructively should you invite his gemstone into your life. Planetary gemstones and metals in Vedic Astrology Part 4. Mercury. Mercury, Buddha, is the planet of intellect, communication, business acumen, and analytical thinking. The gemstone most universally associated with Mercury in Vedic astrology is the emerald, Pana, a vibrant green stone known for sharpening the mind and soothing the nervous system. Classical sources such as Phaladika and Ratna Shastra affirm emerald as Mercury's primary gem. It symbolizes clarity, adaptability, and intelligent expression, qualities essential to Buddha's planetary signature. The metal aligned with Mercury is bronze, also referred to as an alloy in traditional texts, but in practical use, gold is often preferred for setting the emerald due to its nobility and conductivity. For certain cases, silver is also used depending on house rulership and planetary combinations. Emeralds are typically worn on the little finger of the right hand on a Wednesday during Mercury's Hora, and only after proper purification and energization rituals involving Buddha's Bija mantra. Emerald becomes highly beneficial when Mercury is the Lagna Lord, such as in Gemini or Virgo ascendants. It strengthens intellect, memory, verbal clarity, and flexibility, making the wearer more persuasive and mentally agile. It's also recommended when Mercury rules the 5th house, boosting memory, script writing, artistic intellect, the 7th house, enhancing rationality and partnerships, the 10th house, career success in teaching, media, business, or accounting, or the 11th house, networking power, financial acumen. A Virgo ascendant with Mercury ruling both the 1st and 10th houses stands to gain in both self-expression and professional growth through emerald, truly a planetary gemstone for communication and career intelligence. As always, placement modifies outcomes. In Virgo, where Mercury is exalted, emerald can help you perform like a genius, analytical, detail-focused, and organized. In Pisces, where Mercury is debilitated, emerald is often prescribed as a remedy to combat confusion, forgetfulness, or scattered thought. A retrograde Mercury might actually become more reflective and wise, so emerald may help channel that energy productively. However, a combust Mercury, especially if tightly conjunct the Sun within 3 to 4 degrees, may become too agitated or lose clarity, and in such cases, the emerald should be introduced gradually and cautiously. Mercury's conjunctions offer another layer. If Buddha is conjunct Venus or Jupiter, emerald enhances articulation, writing, teaching, and creative intellect. But if Mercury is tightly conjunct Rahu or Mars, it can lead to manipulative speech, scattered thinking, or anxiety. In such charts, emerald may not be the first remedy unless Mercury is still strong in dignity or supported in the divisional charts. Always check for subtle doshas like Mercury in Mrityu Bhaga, dangerous degrees, which can make gem use unpredictable. Divisional charts such as D9, Navamsa, and D10, Dasamsa, give clarity on whether emerald will yield long-term benefit. In the D9, a well-placed Mercury supports harmonious intelligence in relationships. In the D10, it highlights proficiency in commercial or communication-driven careers. If Mercury is strong across these charts, emerald can bring sustained benefits in clarity, fame, and success, particularly in finance, law, digital media, or strategy-oriented careers. That said, emerald is not always safe to wear. If Mercury is a functional malefic, for instance, if it rules the 3rd and 6th houses in a Cancer ascendant chart, then emerald may increase instability or restlessness. If Buddha is under the influence of Ketu, the gem can make one overly analytical, critical, or mentally frayed. Similarly, when Mercury is in the 8th or 12th house with heavy affliction, emerald might pull the native into overthinking or financial missteps rather than clarity. Ultimately, emerald is the gemstone of the thinker, the communicator, and the strategist. When Mercury is favorably positioned, even if weak, emerald can energize the intellect and sharpen life's decisions. But if Mercury is confused, eclipsed, or manipulative in the chart, emerald might only amplify the chaos. In such cases, grounding methods like mantra, writing therapy, or service-oriented Buddha remedies often work better than rushing into gemstone use. Emerald, like Mercury itself, demands discrimination before application. Planetary gemstones and metals in Vedic Astrology Part 5, Venus. Venus, Shukra, is the planet of beauty, relationships, pleasure, creativity, and luxurious abundance. The gemstone traditionally associated with Venus is the diamond, Hora, a sparkling white gem that embodies refinement, sensuality, and charismatic allure. Classical texts like Phaladipika and Ratna Shastra clearly list diamond as the primary gemstone for Shukra. Some modern astrologers also accept white sapphire and opal as alternatives, especially when the native cannot wear a diamond due to budget or energetic compatibility. However, diamond remains the most potent Venusian gem when purity and quality are ensured. The metal associated with Venus is silver, which enhances the soothing, harmonizing, and aesthetic qualities of Shukra. In certain remedial cases, diamonds are also set in platinum or white gold, as these cool-toned metals resonate better with Venus's delicate frequencies. Traditionally, a diamond is worn on the middle finger or the ring finger of the right hand. Some recommend the left for women, preferably on a Friday during Venus Hora, after energization with Shukra Bij mantras. Venus's gemstone becomes especially beneficial when Venus is the Lagna lord, like in Libra or Taurus ascendants. For these natives, diamond enhances charm, confidence, attraction, and the ability to form meaningful partnerships. It's also widely advised when Venus rules the 5th house, creative genius, romance, performing arts, the 7th house, marriage, sensuality, partnerships, the 10th house, careers in luxury, entertainment, or diplomacy, or the 11th house, social magnetism, wealth through networking. For instance, a Taurus ascendant with Venus ruling both the 1st and 6th might wear a diamond to bring balance, grace, and artistic recognition into both personal and professional life. Placement of Venus significantly alters how the diamond will function. In Pisces, Venus's sign of exaltation, wearing a diamond helps to elevate compassion, artistic flow, and a refined worldview. In Virgo, its debilitation sign, diamond is often prescribed as a remedy to counter lack of confidence, difficulty in love, or creativity blocks. A combust Venus, especially near the sun, might signal passion overload or sexual imbalances. Here, diamond may help if Venus is still well dignified, but caution is required. If Venus is retrograde, it's generally okay to use diamond, as retrogression tends to internalize Shukra's energy, making the gem useful for clarity in relationships. Conjunctions matter deeply. If Venus is with Mercury or Moon, diamond enhances aesthetic sense, musical or poetic talents, and emotional eloquence. When conjoined Rahu or Ketu, Venus may become distorted, leading to unconventional or obsessive expressions of love or desire. In such cases, wearing a diamond could magnify illusions or sensual confusion. A conjunction with Saturn or Mars can make Venus more disciplined or passionate, and diamond may enhance relationship durability or sexual magnetism, but only if Venus retains basic strength in the chart. Divisional charts offer important clues. A strong Venus in the Navamsa, D9, indicates fruitful long-term relationships and marital harmony. Diamond can reinforce those themes. In the Dasamsa, D10, a powerful Venus suggests careers in beauty, fashion, media, or design. Here, diamond boosts creative visibility and professional charm. In the Hora D chart, a well-placed Venus often indicates ease with money and indulgence, making diamond beneficial for those in wealth-building or luxury-based vocations. However, diamond is not suitable for everyone. If Venus is a functional malefic, say, for Virgo ascendants, where it rules the 2nd and 9th and may become maraca depending on conditions, or for Cancer ascendants, where Venus rules the 11th and 4th and is often considered neutral or tricky, wearing a diamond may cause emotional detachment, excessive indulgence, or strained relationships. Also, if Venus is afflicted by Saturn Ketu or positioned in the 6th, 8th, or 12th houses, diamond may stir karmic issues related to love, luxury, or morality. And in charts showing Venus-Rahu dosha, e.g. obsession in love, addictions, diamond must be strictly avoided or worn only under close guidance. Venus is a planet of finesse. Its gemstone is no different. Diamond works best when your life calls for emotional healing, creative amplification, and graceful attraction. But when Venus is off balance, either indulgent, afflicted, or distorted by malefics, the same gem that brings harmony can intensify confusion. That's why diamond, while alluring, must be chosen with precision and worn with respect to your chart's unique Venusian blueprint. When aligned, it becomes a radiant enhancer of everything Shukra promises: love, beauty, pleasure, and prosperity. Planetary gemstones and metals in Vedic Astrology Part 6. Jupiter. Jupiter, Guru or Brihaspati, is the planet of wisdom, higher learning, expansion, dharma, and prosperity. Its gemstone is the yellow sapphire, Pukraj, a golden-hued gem that embodies the sattvic, benevolent, and expansive qualities of Jupiter. Classical texts like Phaladipika clearly list yellow sapphire as the primary gem for Guru, and Brigu Sutras adds yellow topaz as an alternative in certain cases. In modern Vedic astrology, yellow sapphire remains the most widely recommended gem for attracting spiritual growth, wealth, and divine protection. Jupiter's associated metal is gold, fitting, given its rulership over abundance and sacred value. Gold amplifies Jupiter's energy of generosity, ethical conduct, and royal stature. Yellow sapphire is typically set in gold and worn on the index finger of the right hand, Jupiter's finger, ideally on a Thursday during Guru Hora, after it has been sanctified with Vedic mantras like the Brihaspati Bij mantra. This gemstone is highly recommended when Jupiter is the Lagna Lord, as in Sagittarius or Pisces ascendants. It strengthens judgment, faith, optimism, and wise decision-making. Yellow sapphire is also used when Jupiter rules the 5th house, enhancing intelligence, children, and creative inspiration, the 7th house, bringing ethical partners, stable marriages, the 10th house, boosting career in teaching, law, or finance, or the 11th house, accelerating gains through guidance, networks, or students. A Sagittarius ascendant, for example, with Jupiter ruling both the 1st and 4th houses, may wear Pukraj for inner balance, spiritual development, and financial fortune. Jupiter's placement in the chart guides how the gem will function. In Cancer, Jupiter's exaltation sign, yellow sapphire magnifies all auspicious traits: wisdom, teaching ability, compassion, and generosity. In Capricorn, where it is debilitated, yellow sapphire is often prescribed as a remedy to uplift faith, confidence, or financial judgment. A combust Jupiter, especially near the Sun, may result in compromised moral clarity or weakened guidance. In such cases, the gem might still help, provided Jupiter is not afflicted by malefics. When Jupiter is retrograde, yellow sapphire can help integrate its inward wisdom and stabilize wavering belief systems. Conjunctions also influence its effect. If Jupiter is conjunct Moon, forming Gajakesari Yoga, Pukraj enhances fame, reputation, and clarity of mind. With Venus or Mercury, it promotes creative intellect and business ethics. But when Jupiter is conjunct Rahu or Saturn, it may be involved in distorted belief systems, arrogance, or spiritual bypassing. In such charts, wearing yellow sapphire without cleansing or counter remedies can amplify delusion rather than wisdom. It's critical to evaluate dignity and planetary war before gem prescription. Divisional charts add precision. In the D9, Navamsa, a strong Jupiter supports spiritual path, marital values, and dharmic insight. In the D10, Dasamsa, it indicates success in teaching, publishing, judiciary, or religious vocations. Pukraj strengthens these traits. In the Hora chart, Jupiter represents wealth through ethics, blessings, or advisory roles. When strong in these charts, yellow sapphire becomes not just a remedy, but a catalyst for holistic growth and stable prosperity. That said, there are strong contraindications for Jupiter's gemstone. If Jupiter is a functional malefic, like the 3rd and 6th lord for Taurus ascendants, or if it rules the 8th or 12th house without forming positive yogas, wearing yellow sapphire can lead to excessive idealism, misplaced generosity, or blind trust. If Jupiter is in the 6th, 8th, or 12th house and aspected or hemmed in by malefics, the gemstone could lead to financial confusion or spiritual escapism. Also, in cases where Jupiter is conjunct Ketu, which tends to spiritualize and dissolve the planet's material promise, gem remedies are only advised after careful judgment. Jupiter is the cosmic teacher, and yellow sapphire is his talisman. But just like a teacher will not reward the lazy student, Pukraj only brings blessings when there is alignment with Jupiter's core values: integrity, generosity, devotion to knowledge, and service. If your chart is ready for that expansion, whether in wealth, spirituality, or wisdom, yellow sapphire will open doors and pathways that only Guru can unlock. But if Jupiter is lost in karma or illusion, this gem may only enlarge the fog. In those cases, fasting on Thursdays, chanting Guru mantras, or helping teachers and elders may yield better results than the stone itself. Planetary gemstones and metals in Vedic Astrology Part 7, Saturn. Saturn, Shani, is the planet of discipline, karma, longevity, structure, and endurance. It represents the patient architect of life, the one who delays but never denies. The gemstone most closely associated with Saturn is the blue sapphire, Neelam, a deep indigo gem that embodies focus, structure, responsibility, and spiritual austerity. Phaladipika, Brigu Sutras, and other classical texts unanimously regard blue sapphire as Saturn's gemstone. Some modern practitioners also accept amethyst or lapis lazuli as gentler alternatives when Neelam is too intense. But Neelam remains the most potent tool to channel Saturn's grounded and karmic influence. The metal classically associated with Saturn is iron, though lead is also referenced in older texts like Saravali. In practice, iron is the go-to metal, often used in rings or as part of Shani Yantra mounts. Blue sapphire is generally set in silver or panchdhatu 5-metal alloy and worn on the middle finger of the right hand on a Saturday during Saturn's Hora, after proper energizing rituals using the Shani Beach mantra. Saturn's gemstone is most beneficial when Shani is the Lagna Lord, as in Capricorn or Aquarius ascendants. Here, blue sapphire strengthens personal discipline, responsibility, and resilience. It's also effective when Saturn rules the 5th house for focused creativity, serious academic pursuit, the 7th house, commitment in relationships, the 10th house, career structure, leadership and administration, politics or engineering, or the 11th house, persistent gains, earnings through hard work. For example, a Capricorn ascendant native might wear Neelam to enhance authority, patience, and clarity in professional life, especially if Saturn is also the 2nd lord, connecting karma to wealth. Placement is absolutely critical when considering blue sapphire. In Libra, Saturn is exalted, and Neelam can amplify balance, justice, and organizational mastery. In Aries, where Saturn is debilitated, Neelam is only cautiously advised, and often alongside other remedials. If Saturn is combust, retrograde, or heavily afflicted, especially by Mars, Rahu, or Ketu, blue sapphire may act like a razor-sharp blade, intensifying isolation, anxiety, or delay unless its placement is still dignified in the divisional charts. Conjunctions greatly influence how blue sapphire behaves. Saturn with Venus or Mercury may benefit from the gemstone, especially if the combination produces wealth or career yogas. With Jupiter, Saturn's results often become dharmic, steady, and wise. Neelam supports maturity in such combinations. But if Saturn is conjunct Mars, sign of enmity, or worse, Rahu, the energy becomes unpredictable or toxic. Neelam may trigger losses, depression, or karmic backlash unless Saturn is stronger than its partner. Always verify whether the conjunction is under benefic aspects or occurring in favorable houses. Divisional charts offer essential insight. A strong Saturn in the Navamsa D9 supports commitment, spiritual evolution, and karmic resolution. Neelam in such cases enhances inner strength and moral structure. In the Dasamsa D10, if Saturn governs the 10th or is forming yoga for authority or service, Neelam becomes a gemstone for sustained professional rise. In the Hora D2 chart, Saturn influences savings through delayed but solid accumulation. Blue sapphire can assist if Shani is benefic. That said, blue sapphire is the most controversial and sensitive of all planetary gemstones. If Saturn is a functional malefic, say as 6th or 8th lord in a chart, or placed in Maraca houses, 2nd or 7th, with malefic aspects, wearing Neelam without proper analysis can be dangerous. For example, for Cancer ascendants, Saturn rules the 7th and 8th and is often deemed tricky. Neelam may increase relationship rigidity or emotional distance. Similarly, in Kalasarpa dosha, or Shani Rahu dosha cases, wearing blue sapphire can open up karmic challenges at an overwhelming pace if done prematurely. Saturn, as a graha, never acts in haste, and neither should you with his gem. Blue sapphire is for those who are ready to face life's responsibilities, build long-term structures, and withstand karmic tests. If Saturn is supportive in your chart, dignified, yoga karaka, or stabilizing, Neelam becomes a gemstone of immense power, bringing focus, spiritual maturity, and real-world achievement. But if Shani is ill-placed or entangled in unresolved karma, Neelam can magnify hardship instead of easing it. In such cases, remedials like oil donation on Saturdays, Shani mantra, and acts of service may be more appropriate than a gemstone. Saturn respects patience, and when you align with his pace, his gemstone rewards you with lasting strength. Planetary gemstones and metals in Vedic Astrology Part 8, Rahu. Rahu, the north node of the moon, is not a physical planet, but a Chaya Graha, shadow planet, yet its impact in Vedic astrology is profound. It governs obsession, illusion, innovation, foreign connections, fame, and unorthodox paths. The gemstone most commonly associated with Rahu is the hessonite garnet, Gomed, a honey-colored gem that's used to stabilize and harness Rahu's chaotic, high-frequency energy. Classical texts like Phaladipika reference hessonite as the standard gem for Rahu. While not all astrologers advise gem remedies for shadow planets, when used properly, Gomed can be highly effective in transforming Rahu's disruptive potential into worldly achievement. The metal associated with Rahu is traditionally lead, due to its heavy, karmic, and tamasic nature. But in practice, silver, or panchdhatu, 5-metal alloy, is more commonly used for setting Gomed, especially for therapeutic balance. The gem is typically worn on the middle finger or ring finger of the right hand, on a Saturday or Wednesday during Rahu's Hora, and must always be purified and energized through proper rituals, especially because Rahu's energy, if not aligned, can produce erratic or overwhelming effects. Gomed is generally recommended when Rahu is functioning as a strong yogakaraka or is positively placed. For instance, if Rahu occupies a trikona, trine, or kendra, angular house in friendly signs and is not afflicted, its gemstone can support breakthroughs, rapid rise in career, and fame. Gomed is also prescribed when Rahu is associated with the Lagna, ascendant, 5th house, to enhance unconventional intelligence or tech creativity, 7th house, to stabilize foreign or karmic partnerships, 10th house, to supercharge public success, media, or politics, or 11th house, to attract gains through networking, technology, or foreign sources. For example, if Rahu is in the 10th house in Taurus for a Capricorn ascendant, Gomed can empower one's status in unconventional or international careers. However, Rahu's placement must be examined with great care. In signs like Gemini, Taurus, or Virgo, where Rahu is considered to function well due to Mercury's influence, its energy can be channeled successfully with Gomed. In fiery signs like Sagittarius or Leo, or watery signs like Cancer, Rahu's emotional volatility can be triggered, and Gomed might backfire unless balanced with benefic support. Rahu doesn't have classical exaltation or debilitation, but its strength is evaluated based on house position, sign, nakshatra, and aspects. Conjunctions are critical in Rahu gemstone evaluation. When Rahu is conjunct benefics like Jupiter or Venus, Gomed can enhance charisma, persuasive power, and visionary leadership. But if Rahu is with Mars, Saturn, or especially Ketu, the effects can be destabilizing. Gomed might then intensify fear, addiction, or self-doubt. A classic example is Rahu-Moon conjunction, Grahan Yoga, where Rahu clouds emotional perception. Wearing Gomed here may worsen confusion unless the moon is strong or supported elsewhere. Divisional charts should always be cross-checked. If Rahu is well placed in the Navamsa, D9, it may indicate that karmic lessons tied to relationships and personal growth are active and transformative. Gomed could help navigate this. In the Dasamsa, D10, a strong Rahu may point to success in digital careers, mass media, or global politics. Gomed can enhance such professional breakthroughs. However, if Rahu is weak, afflicted, or placed in difficult houses in D9 or D10, e.g. 6th, 8th, or 12th, wearing its gemstone can lead to instability, scandal, or mental unrest. Contraindications must be taken seriously. Gomed is never advised if Rahu is involved in intense doshas, such as Rahu-Ketu axis afflicting the moon, Chandra Rahu Grahan Yoga, Rahu in the 8th with malefic aspects, or Rahu as a functional malefic. For example, in Leo ascendant charts where Rahu sits in the 5th or 9th but forms negative yogas, the gemstone may amplify ego or illusion rather than insight. If Rahu is conjunct with Sun in a hostile configuration, Gomed can destabilize confidence or cause legal troubles. Also, in charts with Kalasarpa Yoga, all planets hemmed between Rahu and Ketu, the use of Gomed must be extremely cautious. Often it's better to focus on pacifying Rahu through mantra, yantra, or charity. Rahu is a planet of extremes. It amplifies whatever it touches, be it ambition or anxiety. Gomed, when worn after deep analysis, can help harness Rahu's disruptive brilliance into innovation, mass influence, and rapid advancement. But if misapplied, it can create whirlwinds of confusion, addiction, or public downfall. This is why Rahu's gemstone is often prescribed only under expert guidance, and usually after other gentler remedies have been tried. For those aligned with Rahu's path, tech innovators, filmmakers, politicians, mystics, Gomed can be the fuel to ascend rapidly, provided they're grounded in ethics and self-awareness. Planetary gemstones and metals in Vedic Astrology Part 9. Ketu, the south node of the moon, is the most enigmatic graha in Vedic astrology. A Chaya graha like Rahu, it is headless, mystical, and inward turning, governing detachment, past life karmas, spiritual insight, moksha, renunciation, and sudden transformation. The gemstone associated with Ketu is the cat's eye, Lasunia or Vidurya, a distinctive gem with a luminous band across its surface that appears to shift like an actual feline eye. Classical texts such as Phaladipika recognize cat's eye as Ketu's gemstone, symbolizing its psychic sharpness and unpredictable power. Ketu doesn't have a classically assigned metal, but astrologers often suggest panchdhatu, or silver, for setting the cat's eye. Due to Ketu's intensely spiritual and transformative nature, this gem is worn less for material gain and more for protection, intuition, and clearing karmic baggage. Cat's eye is typically worn on the middle finger or ring finger of the right hand, preferably on a Tuesday or Thursday during Ketu's Hora, after energization using Ketu mantras, e.g. Om Kitave Nama. Cat's eye is most often prescribed when Ketu is a benefic influence in the chart. This includes when Ketu is well placed in Trikonas, 1st, 5th, or 9th houses, or when it supports spiritual practices, intuitive professions, or occult knowledge. Ketu's gemstone is also recommended when it occupies important houses like the Lagna for spiritual protection, the 5th for mystic creativity or spiritual learning, the 7th to stabilize karmic or soulmate relationships, the 10th for unusual or healing professions, or the 11th to attract gains through spiritual or karmic networks. For example, a Scorpio ascendant with Ketu in the 10th house in Leo may benefit from cat's eye for intuitive career decisions or karmic leadership. Ketu's sign placement plays a significant role. In signs like Pisces or Scorpio, where Ketu is naturally comfortable due to their moksha orientation, the gemstone amplifies spiritual insight and mental detachment. In signs like Gemini or Libra, Ketu may act more scattered or illusion-prone, and the gemstone might aggravate instability unless the chart is otherwise strong. Unlike other planets, Ketu doesn't have an exaltation or debilitation, so its strength is judged by house placement, aspects, nakshatra, and conjunctions. Conjunctions are extremely important. Ketu with Jupiter, especially in spiritual houses, can indicate a jnana yoga. Cat's eye can help deepen meditation and wisdom. With Moon, it forms Chandra Ketu dosha, which can cause emotional detachment or past life memories surfacing. Cat's eye here may either assist with detachment or destabilize the psyche if the Moon is already weak. If Ketu is with Sun or Venus, the native may experience ego loss or relationship disillusionment. Wearing the gem in such conditions can either bring transcendence or chaos, depending on overall chart dignity. The divisional charts add clarity. In the D9, Navamsa, a strong Ketu suggests spiritual maturity and inner detachment. Cat's eye in cases can help with meditation, renunciation, and withdrawal from toxic karmic loops. In the D10, Dasamsa, if Ketu supports professions in astrology, healing, metaphysics, or hidden sciences, the gem can be powerful for precision and protection. If Ketu is weak or afflicted in these charts, however, wearing its gem may lead to confusion, paranoia, or mental instability. Cat's eye has strict contraindications. It should never be worn casually or without clear justification. If Ketu is placed in the 6th, 8th, or 12th house with malefic aspects, or if it is involved in severe graha doshas, like Ketu Sun, Ketu Moon, or Ketu Venus in afflicted states, the gemstone can cause accidents, isolation, fear, or psychic disarray. For example, in Kalasarpa Yoga or Chandra Ketu dosha, using cat's eye without prior spiritual or mantra remedy may worsen the karmic load rather than relieve it. Also, if Ketu is a functional malefic, such as ruling the 2nd or 7th house for certain ascendants, its gem can damage relationships, speech, or financial stability. Ketu's nature is anti-materialistic. It dissolves what is false and forces the soul inward. The cat's eye works not by enhancing worldly success, but by acting as a spiritual firewall, cutting through illusions and shielding the aura from psychic disturbances. It is a powerful gemstone for those walking the path of sadhana, healing, astrology, or karmic unraveling. But for those too attached to material desires or already struggling with psychological imbalance, cat's eye may bring more chaos than clarity. With Ketu, as always, less is more, and wisdom must precede activation.